It's just an evolution of music. So the people that everybody loves in America used to do the same. They used to talk the same things. I don't know that. Why are you
But they always do that.
Alright, so welcome back on Usual Suspects. Today we're talking about a very serious topic because, you know, I personally think that too many people are dying in the UK right now. It doesn't make sense.
100%.
Like at 18 years old, this is not Chicago. Like we don't need to be moving and killing each other. So, and we just want to know, like, what do we think is influencing such things in the UK? So my man Ryan came up with a question. And what's your question, bro?
Yeah, so I mean, the murder rate in London is higher than New York now. So we got to ask questions. My question is, there's a new sort of, well, it's not new, but there's something that's getting more and more popular, is drill music. Do you lot think it has a part to play in this increase in crime we're seeing, or not at all?
And even the artists themselves are saying it, because at the end of the day, the 6-7s, so for example, those kind of guys, they don't say in their lyrics for you to go out and do it. They speak of what they're doing, and that's just like any other artist. It's not that what they're speaking of is what they're trying to encourage everyone else, but the reasoning as to why crime is rising is because it's just still happening. It's the same, like if you take it away, crime won't stop. So it's not the music that causes it. It's the actual individuals who mentally put themselves like, yeah, I'm ready to leave my yard or leave this function, go over to this next location, dead off this shoe and move on to the next.
Okay, cool. So let me ask you this, yeah. So, like when you like a lot of, like there's been times where crime in London, especially, that's what we're really talking about in London, right? Yeah, where crime has always like peaked and then it's gone down. And then it was, you get me, right now it's peaking again, yeah. So before, when it was peaking, there was an art form, there was a type of music that also was peaking at the same time. Do you get me? Because let's not forget, drill music is not new. It's not new, but it's peaking the same time as crime is peaking, which is why people are drawing that correlation. So they're saying, all right, man, them are in the ends talking about, I'm gonna dip and to this borough, and they're saying, all right, cool. Well, we're gonna, do you get me? You lot are ops. We're doing a thing. Do you get me? So what I would say is, I think historically, even before when it was grime, like when I was in secondary school, grime was the soundtrack, and that was when it was a Blue Borough, Peckham thing. It was a, do you get me? This isn't just my thing, so this is my experience, isn't it? So it was grime music that people was on, and people was sending shots through grime, and that was the popular genre. And I think it's the same for this. I think it's the same. It's like
there's
not
no
everybody.
difference.
No, I don't think everybody who's saying that they're doing what they're doing is actually doing it. However, I feel like a lot of people, like a lot of us, like young people, our desire for acceptance allows us to tune into what's popular. And if at the time, like those acts will get you, like if you look at the Instagram page, like this, I'm not gonna say the Instagram pages, but there's certain Instagram pages which highlight a lot of beefs that's gone on, a lot of the fights that's gone on, a lot of the stabbings that's gone on, a lot of man on Snapchat when they're in hospital, their neck cut up and they're sending, do you get me?
Man, them are snapping themselves in prison, bro.
Like
I've seen that.
Do you know what I'm saying? So there is a platform for it. That's what I'm trying to say. So people tune into that and they say, do you know what? I want that same clout. I want that same popularity. I want that same acceptance. So they're gonna then go and feel like, what do I need to do to gain that? And I feel, I'm not saying, I will never say that is the reason for the knife crime. I would just say it plays a role. It does play a role, and I think a lot of artists, especially drill artists, they've gotten, like, you have to know whether you like it or not. Whenever you have a platform, you are a role model to somebody. I don't care how you feel, you are. There are people that look at the way you dress and say, "Wow, I want to dress like that. I want that tracksuit. I love that. I love them crepes. I love that hat." It works that way. Jewelry, same thing. Cars, same thing. So you have to know you are a role model, whether you like it or not. So whether you're out there on road doing it or not, the fact that you're talking about, I'm gonna lay there with these ops in there, and I'm gonna dip and whatever. You have to know that there's people that aren't as strong-minded as you that are gonna really take what you're saying as gospel. Do you get me? But
also, like, at the very least, right, it normalizes it. Like, if that's all you're listening to all day, like, you know, someone like all these kind of songs. Like some of the songs, like the beats are hard, like they're good. They're really like interesting to listen to. But like if you look at the messages, some of them are mad. Like laughing at. I heard one the other day, like laughing at someone's mother for burying the child that they killed. Like straight up, I can't remember. I don't even want to remember the song. But there's look it up, there's a song like that.
Yeah.
But like my point is like. No one would disagree with you if you said music could have a positive influence. Like loads of people, like for example, like in America with police brutality, like a lot of it was highlighted from music, and that's when people started getting aware. That's when people started acting on it, like activism. That's where it comes from. So that's in a positive, like a positive sort of message of we need to do something about this.
Right.
So why is it so crazy to think that it could also work in a negative manner? Because like you said about role models, there aren't many role models in these kind of areas where stabbings are happening. You know, some people growing up in dysfunctional families, like even lack of a positive male figure. Not many people have those positive male figures and role models.
Right.
So like now, who are they looking at? They're looking at the sort of drill artists who are talking about killing people or making money from selling drugs, that kind of things, and that's who they aspire to be to.
Right.
I think all I would say is like I think like it's very clear that drill music definitely does play a part, but I think people are like overplaying the part it plays.
Right.
Because I feel like the media is the one pushing, oh yeah, it's drill music because it's like it's the government that are like failing the younger people. There's nothing else for them to do. They're just out here on the streets. There's no like youth clubs are gone. There's nowhere for you to be where you're not like being looked at as a negative. Because even like me, when me and my boys used to sit on the streets, you see police officers driving past looking at us in a funny way. We're not doing anything dumb, but already like we've already been put in that bit where we must be doing something negative.
Profiling,
So exactly. So I feel like.
But at what point do we just say fuck waiting for the government, right? Because at the moment, like I've gone to councils asking for stuff like youth clubs and football activities to try and reduce things like knife crimes in certain areas. Yeah. And you're speaking to old people who like grew up in Cornwall or whatever and have no clue how this kind of stuff works. So they won't understand you, and they won't put any funding for that. I've seen that they're disinterested. So like we can't expect like the government to ever understand this sort of stuff. How many of the people like from where we're from in the parliament? Like obviously they're never going to put in certain policies to help people. So at what point does the community decide, you know what, we're not going to wait until the government decides, we'll help you out. We should try and help each other.
Right.
Cause right, and people are like, you need money for that. But like I'm from Algeria, right, and we're quite, like the people are not really, they're not well off. Mm-hmm. They still manage that sort of village mentality. Yeah. So like everyone else is making sure that you're not getting up to those like no trouble, like trapping or stabbing people. Like whenever there's a fight or something, anyone will get involved to stop you from break it up or like just they'll beat you up if they find out you're going out here trying to stab people.
The maddest thing is like,
that's the village mentality.
I'm feeling what you're saying. Because what you're saying is very important. The media play a massive part.
Yeah, exactly.
In everything. Now, having a discussion. Sorry. Having a discussion with kind of Tracy on the way here. In terms of being anti-Tracy, yeah. In terms of being like a young black male growing up in London. Or anywhere across the UK, anywhere across whatever. Yeah. What the media show you is people like Nas, people like Jay-Z, people like who are just doing dirt, selling drugs, gang banging, talking about it. Right. And it's kind of like, I can't remember who you said, it's about the male role model. Yeah. I don't think it's so much not having a positive male role model in a family sense, but I feel like if that's all you're seeing as a black male growing up,
and that's the only way to be successful.
Even when you watch adverts, you don't see happy black families. Maybe you do now, but growing up, you see any. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. Maybe in Sweden.
No.
I feel like you saw it's a community.
Bring that, because I think what you're saying is true, but what we have to be honest. The negative always gets celebrated more than the positive stuff.
This is what I'm
and we have we can't just, do you get me? That's true.
I feel like it's selective though.
Yeah, exactly.
Because with the other side, we'll talk about, obviously, I'm gonna say it on my chest now. We're gonna talk about white people. Yeah. No one talks about no negatives. Someone gets flipping. You have my man who holds up some Las Vegas ting, popping off everybody.
Yeah,
he was a nice guy. Like man had family, kids, and rare tear. Black guy does. Huh?
Yeah,
he mentally ill.
Yeah, if you're brown, you're
terrible. Man drank some Kool-Aid and got mentally ill.
But whose platform is that?
These are the biggest platforms in the world. This is what
Right, and
everybody's
who are
looking
they
at.
run by? So
Of course.
who are they going to support?
Of course.
Right,
This is
cool.
what I'm saying.
So what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say is that what we need to do is because we always celebrate that negative. Like even in primary school, like I remember like one youth would be bad, and then we all get kept 10 minutes at lunch because he can't stop talking, or do you get me? Like that's just what happens. And as boys, we're raised to. Like when we're angry, we become destructive. Boys don't cry. Boys don't get upset. So when you get older and you start to understand different emotions, you only really recognize anger and a few others, and happiness, and do you get me? And being horny.
Well. You got to suppress.
You got
that
right. So you've got all this suppressed energy. Like you're a teenager, you've got energy. You want to do something. The only people you see doing stuff are either in sports, or they're a rapper, or they're a trapper. Yeah. So we got 3 options. Yeah. Because again, the positive is not celebrating. The brothers that decide to become an entrepreneur, you don't really hear from, man. Do you get me? Like, so the people that are more visible in your realm, those are the ones that you want to aspire to, because you want that, and that's why on the flip side I think about it, and it's like these brothers, they want to get out the ends essentially. You talk to them, I know people like I know, like I'm not even gonna go into that, but they're saying to me, we're doing this so we can get P and we can get out. Do you get me? So I can't say, oh no, well, you shouldn't be saying this. Because the people that everybody loves in America used to do the same, they used to talk the same thing. They used to talk about flipping that work, and then just because these men are talking about it more vulgar, it doesn't mean that, do you get me? Like, it's just an evolution of music. So if we're gonna identify these men and say, oh yeah, them men are bad, are we gonna identify everybody else?
Of course, I always talk about people that I've grown up looking at. Do you know what I'm saying? But obviously, like what Ryan was saying about the community thing, I think, boom, it was for all of us to come together, because I don't walk down the road if I didn't know Chins. I might walk down the road, see man, I'm with my girl, he's with his girl, and it could be like a little. For what? I don't know, man. Why are you?
Man, they always do that.
I'm just trying to get my location. You're trying to get yours, and I don't want no problems because I'm.
Why are we not checking for gal? Why are we looking at each other?
Man, them come to range. Man, them come to range.
Oh no, big, they're this way. Big up the jacket as well, and it's a closed up rave, and you're sitting there in the wall, just staring the screen at everyone's happiness. Why you dancing about? Why you having a good time? Why she looking so good? Mates, man.
It's not. Do you know what my problem is as well? Let me just say something. Like you see Michael Dapper, yeah.
Yes.
It's like he's a funny guy and hilarious. Like he does so many personalities, yeah.
Yes.
But it's funny how the one that portrays black people negatively, Big Shaq, is the one that's got 200 million views. Because he's got his PC one. He's got Dr. Authority. Dr. Authority, that guy's a legend.
Yeah, but
Dr. Authority is the
it's-
best. No, but I'm saying like I feel like people.
But he didn't blow up because of that character. He just blew up because of the song. Like the song was mad.
Yeah, but he was
catchy.
the character.
No, but the character.
He was the character. Yeah, he blew up as the character.
Yeah, but
He blew up as the character. You're right. He did.
Like it's Big Shaq. That's the character that everyone's like, yeah.
I can answer that one on the basis of what everyone's really said, and it's in the sense of taking what people are interested in and what influences you. And like at the end of the day, I kind of like drill music, and do I see it as an influence or negative influence to the younger audience? Yes, only because the younger audience believe that listening to that they can do anything they want or be anything they want in a negative way. No, you need to relax. It's just music, and you're listening to music that's distracting you. But do I see some forms of positive? I can say yes, only on the basis because there's that interest. It's a musical genre at the end of the day, and it's not easy as an artist, taken away from the obvious that not every drill artist are actually like doing this every day. It's sometimes they are just saying it for the sake of it. For me, I don't care what you're generally doing because I'm not you in it, and that's my thing. My thing is what really needs to be tackled is what is actually affecting crimes in our city specifically. Does the community have a part of it? Of course, because it's our communities that's being affected. How do we do it? Or what can we do about it? I specifically don't know as of yet because I still want to know. I still question it.
I think it's a sorry, go.
No, go. You go.
I think it's a mindset thing. It's a mindset thing, and we seem to all like we're not enemies. Like I was saying to you, I could be older than my woman.
Yeah.
You, your woman, and we for some reason want to screw each other. I don't know whether it goes back to tribal days.
It
when
would.
we was all in like tribes and rest. I
would.
don't know what it is, or whether
I
it's
don't
whether it's
think
because
it is, like, I
No,
don't
you
think
can't,
it's-
you
whether it's
can't
because-
say it was because most of us don't even know what tribe we are, bro. Like, you can't even say it goes back to that.
I'm saying I don't know whether
we've
it
been-
goes back to that. That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah,
don't know
we've
whether
been
it goes
so
back to
far
that.
removed
But
from
what I'm
our
saying
own
is
like,
it's become like a. It's not. We're not saying that. Oh, he said. Oh, he might be a different tribe. It's a thing where it's just become part of us.
It's
now.
an
like,
ego.
We
It's
see
an
this
ego.
guy.
You think it's
It's
ego?
ego. That's all it is.
I
It's
think it
ego.
could be. I
It's
think it could be.
bruv, in secondary school, yeah, they used to be who's the strongest, who's the tallest, who
the
was the
quickest,
funniest, who gets the girls,
fastest.
who's the fastest. Like, there was just little categories. You get me?
You got
Yeah?
points.
Now there's only one. Who's the baddest? Who's the realest? Do you get me? Who is the realest? Who's really out here doing dirt? And to us, it may be nothing because we're past it. But to them, man, it's that like
everything.
I remember being in that realm where you know what, going to a certain ends was very, very sticky.
Yes.
Now I could do it. Do you get me? Because my energy's changed. Do you get me?
Sorry,
What?
yeah.
No, I get
Man,
that. No, but
this
you
is
see,
limited.
but you
But-
see how he said that. That was a mindset still, because even I was like that. Because where Cole's from, I'm from that same area. But you see how he moved. I moved like that, but I still went. I didn't care what part of my area or this other part of area. If you're in London and I have to go there for whatever reason, I'm going. And whatever happens, happens. I don't care personally. Because why are you gonna stop me? Because you wanna act an idiot. And more case, I'm a psycho anyway. So let that happen and come my way. It's gonna rectify and come back to you.
Man,
And
Wakanda you.
okay, because I don't understand why you want to live that lifestyle anyway. Again, it's the mindset. It's what you've been brought into. I've been so disappointed to know that a lot of young males in particular, and even when I found out that girls start getting involved, like that style, that lifestyle is not real. It's not realistic.
Alright,
it gets
hold
you
on.
nowhere.
Hold on, let me
Crime
ask,
gets you nowhere.
Let me ask. All right, cool. So you got a brother that to society looks aggressive because he's tall and he's black. Yeah.
Me?
Yeah. All right, cool. You lot, yeah. Because you lot know. Because even me, I'm small. But I still have people that will cross the road rather than walk past me. Do you get me?
Body shape,
Right,
can't
if
you
they
be
say-
wedge?
But wait,
It's good, edge does.
now, but fam,
100
this
press-ups.
is new. This is new. This is new.
But I understand.
This
Go
is
on,
Dr.
go on,
Miami. I'm doing what the gallon do. I'm joking.
Sorry.
But you know what I mean? So all right, cool. So to society, they're already deemed as aggressive. They're already deemed as negative. They're already deemed as criminal. You don't have to have a criminal record, right? So what occupation would take a brother like that? Really and truly, what job do you see? Where can somebody go and become a CEO, become a company owner?
You have to build your own thing nowadays.
Exactly. Right. Well, that's the point. That's what I'm getting at. You have to build your own thing, but you have to have knowledge to build your own thing, right? Enough people, they don't have to build their own thing. You can join a company and 10 years later be joint partners.
Yeah.
But that's not the same for people that look a certain way. That's what I'm trying to say. So the options are very limited. So when you do see somebody become a success from saying I'll dip and shh.
That's
Yeah,
what you think.
you're thinking, all right, well, this is the quickest way for me to get money, so I can buy a yard, I can get out of the house, I can buy my mum a yard, and we can,
That's their knowledge.
and we can live. Do you get me? Because the options are very, 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 very
No, but
limited.
that's why I'm saying it's
that's
up,
what
to,
it's
it's up
showing
to no, but it's up to the community to correct that though. Like they need to be addressing the fact that like, the music isn't a reality because it's not. It's people.
But
It's
wait,
not.
all right. So what CEOs do you know live in the ends?
Loads of people
That's the
come from
problem.
poor areas, but the problem
no,
is.
and you
come
didn't
from,
answer
but
my
there's
question.
different-
Well, you didn't answer my
I was-
question. What CEOs do you know that live in the ends?
Like from London end,
Your ends from
like ends, and like London, it depends.
From
Like poor
ends.
ends or London ends. There's different.
I don't call it poor ends because I live there. So I'm talking about ends.
Like London, I know plenty of CEOs who started off in not so well off.
No, but the problem
My
is,
point
what
is-
you saying is they started off well and they're gone now. So
And they made it,
the
and they
young
made
kids
shit.
now, there's no influence for them. There's no one saying, look, you don't have to trap, you don't have to
Exactly.
whatever because
Exactly.
look, I went for
I am a
business and
visual
they're not-
representation
they're in Essex now.
that
You know
there's
what I mean?
another option.
Yeah,
when
but
there
they're-
isn't that
they're not
person there, you look to who's got it.
Yeah.
You do. It's natural.
That's my point.
Whether,
Again,
whether
that's
your
up to the
mindset,
community.
whether your mindset is good or whether your mindset is
I think
bad,
I think
in the
it
community,
also
well, we all know.
as much as the community.
I think-
Sorry, it's because I'm running so ego in the community. I think it plays a part in everything. Just
No, but this is the
everything.
problem.
It's not
No,
just-
I'll tell you why you don't want to. Wait, I feel quite strongly about it. I'll tell you why I wouldn't want to rely on schools in this. Because I went.
Sorry.
No, but
Carry
this-
on,
No,
but
let him-
I'll tell you why.
let him-
I've been on both sides of the system. I went to a state school. It was a majority black state school. It was quite in a poor area. I went to Wolf Academy, near Globe Academy.
Be easy.
And then I managed to go to private school for free. But I saw both worlds.
Yeah.
So one was full of white people, one was full of black people. Why in the private school they're all told that you can be anything you want, you can achieve, and you can get A stars. Like they'll tell them to get A stars. But in the state schools they'll say, oh, if you work hard enough, you can get a C. So they're told to achieve. They're told to want to achieve different things.
So are you saying
just
that
contradicted your
so
own
you
point.
saying that if the schools are to blame?
Sorry?
You're saying the schools are to blame?
My thing is schools are to blame, but the community needs to recognize that they can't rely on these schools. Like they need to ingrain that within their community. My point is, don't rely on the government, don't rely on the schools. The community needs to take that role. I know it's the worst position, but you can't just say, oh, one day the schools will be better, and one day the government will be better.
And that's where I
Because
jump
they
in and
never will.
stop you there, because the communities do so much that they can. Because at the end of the day, this is where they know those individuals that are doing it more than anyone else, and it's harder for them sometimes to crack that because that's so individual is so far gone mentally where I'm living this lifestyle. This is the only option. It's not even like just community that can break that out of them. Main person I always say that can help you in your growth is yourself. But when you're going through life as a young individual, and all of us can vouch, it wasn't just your family and everyone else that educated you. It was school
Everything, your
and
surroundings.
everything, and what you lived on your day to day. And that's how I, as a young influencer and a young individual, was grateful now that my last 2 years, I can actually see things differently. I grew up in South London across all the kind of gang-related stuff and everything. I always said to myself, I easily could have been that. I could have been in the gang. I could have easily been in the worst
I think
situation.
for any of us, we could have.
100%, no,
But
100%.
Agreeing with what you're saying, when it comes to schools, and this is what I've said for years and years and years, it's a systematic thing. If you go to school and you're constantly not so much surrounded, but from a teacher perspective, the way that they deal with you, because bear in mind, school, when you're at school, even
It's
like primary
structured.
school, that's when you get your main part of condition. That's when you're conditioned. That's when
Yeah.
you learn.
It's your formative
So
years,
if you got teachers and they're saying to you, oh, and they're moving like you're never going to be anything, you're never going to amount to anything, tear. All the way through primary school, through secondary school, you're being called out. You don't know that it's because obviously you're X, Y, Z, you're black or tear. Like, and you're just thinking, what? Why am I going to fail? I'm here. You're getting called out. You're getting picked
Doesn't
on.
make
You
sense.
don't understand. And then you'll get told you're never going to be anything. You're never going to amount to anything. So aim for C, whatever. Go work in McDonald's, flipping fries. No disrespect to anyone who works at McDonald's, by the way.
Yeah,
because
Get your hustle.
everyone's on each other. Exactly that.
Get your joke, get
But
your joke.
so then you see people who look like yourself from the same background as yourself, who you can resonate with, because you can't resonate with no flipping
Richard Branson and that. They say Richard.
Toby Maguire and them. You can,
And you
can't
see,
be
but you see
McGuire.
when you're noticing those individuals, those
Spider-Man.
individuals, no, I get you because you couldn't on the spot think of them specifically, but those kind of individuals, they're trying to tap into these younger people to try and get them away from that because there's only so much they can do in their position because they're already made, and their way of being made is because they did this and they did that their way and they were raised differently, and now they're understanding again from the communal point of view.
Not only that, I would also say, in terms of like mindset, like imagine you saw somebody like get stabbed or get shot or get rushed, that affects you psychologically. There's nobody around in the ends for you to express that emotion to and to talk about those late nights when you couldn't sleep and the paranoia and all of those kind of things, do you get me? And the actions replaying in your head over and over again. Do you get me? There's nobody man can sit down to and say, yo, like I've been through some mad stuff. Do you get me? So what we do, we keep it and we think, do you know what? I need to give that energy back because energy is always transferred. Do you get me? So whatever comes to you, always want to give it back out. And if that's all the energy that you're getting, that's all you're gonna give because that's all you can identify with. Like me personally, like I always had this thing where I did not understand when people would say nice things about me because I always thought, what do you want from me?
Trust me.
Do you get me? Also, why are you saying that? But if somebody says something negative, I clock that. I get that. When somebody wants beef, when somebody wants a problem, I can identify with that. I can see it. I can feel it. But when somebody's doing something positive towards me, I'm thinking, why are you doing that? Do you get me? And that's all right. Yeah, that's just me. But I know that identifies with a lot of other people. Do you get me? So I think like psychologically, we need to identify the power of how our thoughts can manifest and stuff like that. Do you get me? Because not like everybody sitting here now, nobody's like affiliated. Like may have previously been, but do you get me? Like it's about transitioning. It's about transitioning. And I think as people that we can, if we was to talk to like young people and that, I feel they would understand that where we're coming from isn't a point of badgering, isn't a point of telling them off. It's a point of saying, all right, cool. You can identify with that world. Let me show you something else. Let me show you something different. And then I'll leave it to you. Do you get me? Because we can't control people, and that's what the masses do. That's what the government does. That's what everybody does. So there's no point us trying to control people. It's about saying, all right, cool. I get you know that world. Let me just show you.
No, but that's what the Jewish community does so well, right? That this will be the last thing I from what I've seen, because you know throughout history, Jewish people have had it hard in certain ways, right? But what they've done so they have. No, but what the Jewish community do so well is they're very supportive of each other. Like if someone wants to start a business, they'll be like, yeah, this is a good idea. I know a guy, I'll connect it, and they support it. Like even if they don't like the product as much, they will pay for that product to try.
Black communities don't like that, you know.
That's what they need to adopt. So like even what the Jewish community do, so they to build up that sense of community, they send people to Israel for free. So you have something called Birthright. They send them for free just to feel even more ingrained and feel part of that community. They go through that length because they understand the power of that. And I feel like other communities, like communities that I've grown up with, can benefit from that positivity, because now it's just a negative environment.
Well, it's just about thinking like, where would you send man to, bruv?
Saying that because I think these countries are very, from what we know, the countries are very similar.
Yeah.
In terms of like, I've never been to Nigeria, but from what I've heard, it's on top, innit? Like you can get beef out there, man will just chop you and walk off.
Yep.
So, right. All right. To wrap up, do you think drill music is the cause or behind a lot of the riots that's going on in London and around the UK?
I think one thing I'm gonna say, I feel like the sharp increase is because of murders were happening before, they weren't getting put on the news. Now they're putting every single murder on the news. So
that's the problem.
Man, never like, bro, like,
I need to start carrying
I
myself.
need to be careful, you know what I mean? Because brothers are out there. So I feel like that's what's,
I get that.
that's what's contributed to the sharp
You know
rise.
what? Yeah, I think they relate. But I think also what we need to pay attention to is outside of London, the effect that music has. So there's certain man that may not live in an area as multicultural as ours, and they will see certain man on YouTube or on TV talking that dip and thinking, wow, that's how it is in London. You get me? So they want to replicate that in their area because we're very influential. Do you get me? We're very, very influential. So that's what I would say.
To sum it up, I think the only reason why drill music does have an influence is because of the environment like people are growing up in. Because then the sort of environment where they can, stab people, or they're growing up in that harsh environment, so they don't have there's a lack of role models. That is why it would be a big influence on them, because they see those guys as a role model, because they're making a lot of money, they're having a better life that they don't have themselves here, which is why I think it has an influence. Now, if I was to say, should we get rid of drill music? No, I can disagree, and it wouldn't have an effect anyway. So that's what I think.
I can agree with you on that, bro.
Change my brother.
Oh, really? Like on the basis of it all, I genuinely see it as it's more of the individuals who are involved who need to make the decision for themselves, because at the end of the day, you raised yourself as the individual to learn about it, believe in it, and think that that's your only option, and that's not your option. I can't lie, in this day and age we can't still feel like that's our only option. It's not, and you know it. So based on that specific, who's in it doing drill music or doing the actual deed, choose the right option for yourself, because the music itself, I don't think it's gonna stop, because it's been going on for a little bit. And like I said, honestly, when you take away the means of the lyrics and everything, it's catchy. It's music that you dig. Like it's not something that I'm gonna go and say I would encourage my own kids to listen to, because if I know my kids are listening to it and they're taking upon themselves to follow through, then that's for me to have to deal with, because I don't want my kids to listen and go ahead with it. That's not what you should be doing. If you listen and like and you fuck with it, cool. but don't be that person in there who's speaking of that thing into and making it into an existence. That's not what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Know what's right for you and take upon yourself what's really meant to influence you in the right way.
I think
Be me.
I think though it's not that it's the only option. I think
just
it's
the
the
easiest
fastest
option,
option
exactly.
and the easiest
Instant
option.
gratification.
And you shouldn't see
Instant
that.
gratification.
Sometimes even
Like-
like forget the gratification and stuff. Yeah, like a lot of these guys, times are hard at home, so like
100%.
straight away they need to be making money, and like so straight away they're seeing brothers.
So they should make
artists and
music
stuff.
about that. Why things are hard. Like they
Yeah, I
don't.
know, but
they
the
don't
thing is,
focus on
imagine,
that.
do you know what it is? Do you know what it is
Focus
as
on
well?
the
Like
issue.
it's a thing where there's people doing that, but they're getting 1K views, 2K views.
all of
That's
that.
another problem as well. So it's like they're thinking,
It's
what's
the
the point?
interest.
They're not getting any
Yeah,
clients.
exactly.
Yeah,
What's the point of me
absolutely.
doing it? 'Cause
Yeah.
So how
1K
do you
doesn't
sum
make
up
me
your
feel.
views then?
I already summed it. I just said that I think the problem, the sharp rise in drill music because
It's
of the
comedian,
media,
not
like
drill.
just like pushing every single person that gets stabbed now. Like it's in the news. It's in the news.
So if Gary
It's
does
just
it,
building this
It's out,
paranoia.
it's there, it's out. Once they hear it, they put it out.
So you think it's part of a bigger agenda? Why they
Yeah, no,
pushing
exactly.
it out
That's what I
so
said to
much?
people. So I said like maybe then next they're gonna be like calls for either stop and search to be brought back.
doing it already are.
Exactly. Then and then they're gonna say, oh yeah, like we might as well start arming police. This is what I feel like. There's like
And who are they going to be
back
targeted?
agenda.
Are
Exactly,
white people
yeah.
going to be targeted? No. Let's not.
Arm
It's-
these
yeah.
foolish.
It's going to be.
It's going to be the same thing that's happening in America now.
not gonna be equal.
So would you? All right. So does that mean the general consensus is that we don't want stop and search to be brought back?
I
didn't want
I would.
to
They've got a lot.
To be honest, I wouldn't. Like me, I don't carry whatever. I feel like it should be brought back because people are like, oh, like my friends and stuff will go to jail. It's better your friend gets caught with a knife, goes to jail for what 5-6 years, than kill someone and goes to jail for 20+ years. That's how I feel personally.
I feel like if people,
I didn't even
I
know
feel like
before.
I feel like if stop and search gets brought back, it will give police the opportunity to
Yeah, no, that's the problem.
to abuse their powers,
Yeah, yeah,
even
that's the
more
problem
so.
as well.
But for me to sum up on the question, I don't think it's drill music. I think there needs to be a mindset shift.
Right.
We need to stop looking at each other as the enemy.
Yeah.
And this goes for everyone, every young male watching. If you see someone out there, another black male or red-head, you see him on the road, rather than scream, nod at man.
You give him the
Nod at man. Because
That sorry. That you know, remember the riots, yeah?
Yeah.
I was coming back from Reading, yeah? So I had to cut through bare different ends to get back to my team because there was feds all over the gap, yeah? Brother, when I saw man them, everybody was showing man love. Do you know how I felt? Like, I saw man them from East, man them from West, man them from... Everybody was looking at man just like, yo,
To clarify.
salute. Like, I was like, yo,
To
it's
please
It's a
clarify.
mindset shift, bro.
I
If we,
swear.
like we all saw Black Panther in it.
Yes.
We all saw Black, so we
Every
know.
man
We
was
already
walking
know.
around like this.
No. Listen, the power is in unification. It's not about. It's not about me being against you. I don't even know you from nowhere. But why am I
Have you
screwing
seen Infinity War?
I'm
When you see Infinity War, it's no longer Wakanda forever. It's Wakanda's gone forever.
Hey, don't spoil it, man.
That's not a spoiler. That's not a spoiler.
I didn't hear it.
I've seen it. It's a spoiler.
It is a spoiler.
I didn't hear
It's not a spoiler. It's not a spoiler.
I
And you know
I
why?
watched it, but I know it.
Do you know what as well? Do you know what I'm not even gonna say as well? Yeah.
That was a spoiler.
I
I
can't.
watched
It can't be a spoiler, bro. Do you know why it's not a spoiler? Because I fell asleep during the film. I woke up at the credits.
So you hold on. Let me
So-
clarify something. Wait.
so- so-
hold on.
so I
you
know
want
it's
to
not a
tell us
spoiler.
this wait. You want to tell us this information? Feel proud and embracing this information for us to hear. To then tell us that you didn't even fully watch the whole thing. You demonic spirit.
didn't give me a
You're
chance
not
to talk. You didn't give me a chance to talk.
my
You know, I was already like spoiler. I didn't even get to finish.
I'm back to Joe Biden. I'm back to Joe Biden again. I'm back to Joe Biden again.
Bro, get that. I don't even want to say the word, but get that man. Okay?
I had a long
Get
day.
that
I had a
man.
Do you
long
not think it
day.
was a sick film?
It was what?
Infinity War was sick.
The beginning was
I think the
amazing.
general consensus was that we don't think drill is the best.
Regardless, yeah, I feel
It
like
has a part to play, but it's not the only cause. It's
unification is
Yeah,
main
that's true.
priority.
I think it's very clear that poverty breeds crime. But
Oh,
but
yeah.
yeah, let us know what you guys think. Does drill music have a massive influence in the violence in London and the UK? Let us know in the comments below. We are the Unusual Suspects.